Yay, we're on. Happy Thursday. Welcome to Inspired Thoughts. Kimberly here. Wasn't able to hop on last Thursday, but we are on today. Everything is working, all is well. Um, I am a little bit under the weather, hence the cough drop in my mouth, but just a bit of typical stuff for this time of year, switching over to spring, which I'm so thrilled and happy and willing to do. Hey, Mama. So yesterday was officially the first day of spring. So wherever you are, even if you're not feeling it quite yet, it is on the way. So if that causes you to deal with any kind of seasonal transitional stuff, just hang in there, breathe through it best we can, grab a cough drop if you need it, and know that all is well. So what I wanted to talk about today is what we can do when challenges in our life feel insurmountable, like we just don't see a light at the end of the tunnel just yet, and we're not quite sure what to do next, what choice to make, what path to take. And I wanted to start with what I often think we do, and it's based, I think, on a combination of kind of a primal response, but then also conditioning as well. I think that we as humans have a tendency to respond in any situation with the traditional fight or flight response. And that's very primal. And, in the early days of man, if you're out hunting for food and you come face to face with a tiger, yeah, it's a fight or flight situation. But what studies have shown is that mental pathway of going into fight or flight mode tends to cross over from our physical experience into our mental and emotional experience. And when we deal with challenges in life that are very heartfelt, there's also a tendency to go into that mode of fight or flight. And then, many of us are, we're taught lessons along the way through our lives of how to take on situations. And, there's in a given situation, there may be, because I don't want to deal with it, there may be a tendency to go into denial. That's the running away. That's the flight, just not dealing with it at all. But for many, and very much for me, I've always had a tendency to want to face it, to go into fight mode, to find the answer, to solve the problem, to push the boulder uphill, to fix it, to make it all better, to make the problem, the issue, the challenge go away. And even knowing and feeling like I can do this, I'm going to be stronger on the other side. And I think for many of us, I'll speak to that initially because that is where I spent the majority of my life, is kind of coming from that mindset. We often hear things like, anything worth having is worth fighting for. Life's not meant to be easy. Also been told things like you'll never be given more than you can handle. You ever heard that one? Or God will never give you more than you can handle. And I used to pray, and not only used to for a small period of time, for years and years and years and years, probably throughout the majority of my adult life, I would pray, dear God, I don't ask for a lighter load. I ask for stronger shoulders. I don't ask for a lighter load. I ask for stronger shoulders. I'm not asking you to go easier on me. I'm not asking for life to be easier. I'm asking to be stronger so that I can push through this, so that I can get to the other side. And what I've come to learn in the more recent years, certainly within the last decade, as I've prayed that prayer over and over and over again, I came to realize that I never really waited for the answer. I'm a believer that prayer is when we speak to our source, God, the higher power, your inner being, your soul, the universal intelligence. As you probably know by now, I think that whatever we choose to call that energy, that benevolent source, is almost irrelevant, because I don't think that God cares what we refer to him as. But I do believe, and have always believed, that when we pray, we're speaking to that source energy. When we meditate, we're opening ourselves up to receiving a response. And I realized that whenever I would pray that prayer, when I'm in the midst of a challenging situation, and we all go through challenging situations, from the most kind of mundane challenges day by day to the most heart-wrenching and traumatic. And I found that when I would say that prayer, I would just say, okay, I've asked for stronger shoulders, let's get back to work. Let's get back to the dealing with the problem, to the pushing through the challenge. And it's been in the more recent years that I've actually through meditation, through quieting my mind and opening myself up to guidance from that source energy, I've learned that the response isn't, here are your stronger shoulders. The response isn't, okay, I'm not going to make it any easier on you, but here are more muscles to be able to hold it. Here's more strength to be able to push through. I'm giving it to you. That's not been the response. The response has been, give it to me. Over and over again, the response from God has been, you're not meant to carry it all on your shoulders. You're meant to put it on mine. I'm sure it's just the fever. And I think I get emotional about that because of the relief that can come from the subtle yet deep realization that we are not alone. Not only, does this source energy, this universal intelligence that is so loving and so benevolent, not only does this energy put other people into our lives to support us through hardships and challenges, but that source energy is always there, just waiting for us to surrender, waiting for us to come to the point that we say, all right, I'm not going to run from this. I'm not going to take that mode of flight and deny it or pretend it doesn't exist or, just forget about it, try to forget about it. But I'm also not going to try to fight it head on all by myself. Instead, I'm going to sit with it. I'm going to feel what I need to feel. I'm going to move through what I need to move through. But on the deepest of levels, I am going to hand this over to a greater power, to this benevolent source that is here to love and guide and support me. So you've probably seen the bumper sticker, let go and let God. It really does kind of boil down to that. Hey, Debbie says, so very true. It really has come to be one of the deepest truths of my life experience. So yeah, it looks like Roxy. Hey, Roxy, how are you? Excuse me. Oh, there's that sexy cough. One more. Whew. So my encouragement for you, whether it be, today or in the coming days, the next time life throws you a curveball, a challenge that you feel like, whoa, the immediate response is to either run from it or to tackle it head on, that fight or flight. Maybe take a step back, take a couple of deep breaths and think, you know what? I could use some backup here. And know that it's not that you need stronger shoulders. It's that you need to understand you're not alone. That there have been people and resources placed in your life for a reason. And there's a divine design. And while I'm actually not a believer, I spent most of my life also as a believer that everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. There's always, a purpose for why something happens. And, I've just come to believe that while that's not the truth for me, because there are some things that happen that you just can't reason out as far as finding a purpose for why this was planned. For example, a baby drowns in a pool under the care of a babysitter. Was the reason so the babysitter could learn to be more responsible? Like, couldn't there have been a less extreme lesson for the babysitter to learn that? Like, could, the baby have fallen and scratched her knee or something? It's like sometimes things happen that you just can't reason out. As much as we want to go with our logical brains and figure out the reason for it, I'm just not of the mindset that everything happens for a reason. However, I am of the mindset that everything can have a purpose. So while not everything happens for a specific reason, there is still this divine universe and this divine plan that is supported. And no matter what you go through, no matter what challenges you face, you have an opportunity to come out the other side with benefit, with lessons learned, with purpose. And at the bare minimum, I've learned that no matter what it is you go through, you can always come out the other side of it a more compassionate, more understanding human being. And so if nothing else, if there's no other purpose for what it is you're going through right now, whatever it is you have been through, whatever it is you may go through, know that you do have the opportunity to now be more understanding, to be more loving, to be more compassionate, especially when you find yourself in a situation or within a scenario where you now may have an opportunity to support someone else who is going through something similar. So there's always that, purpose that can come from any challenging situation. So just a couple more hellos. Looks like I've got, Roxy says she's good. Say, hey, Tara. Hey, Callie, thanks for jumping on. I appreciate it. So that's really the biggest message I have for you today. When we have challenges in our life that feel like they are insurmountable, when we feel like, I don't know what to do with this. I don't know how to handle it. I don't know what choice to make. I don't know what path to take. And we start to find ourselves going into that fight or flight mode, where there is that, I'm just gonna run away from it, or I'm just gonna tackle it head on. And push through, because that's what I've been, taught by this world to do. I'm gonna push the boulder uphill, no matter what. Sometimes it's not meant to be that way. Sometimes a challenge can be so great or so deep that you really are meant to sit with it, feel what you need to feel, move through whatever you need to move through, but at the same time, truly call in a higher power to support you. And through that higher power, that can surface through family, loved ones, friends showing up. Or it can show up through a sense of guidance and a sense of peace that starts to bubble up from within. And either way, it's just a reminder that you are indeed not alone. You are not alone. And when in life you find yourself up against the challenges that cause you to think, oh, God, give me stronger shoulders. You don't need stronger shoulders. You just need to put it on God's shoulders and know that you are always supported. The universe has your back, and you're going to come to the other side of this. You're going to come out the other end of the tunnel, and hopefully you will choose to take on the purpose of finding more understanding based on what you've been through, finding more compassion for others, more love. And that's truly a gift, really. Even in the greatest of losses, the gift can be a deeper sense of compassion. So I wish for you the most wonderful day. And with anything that you may be up against right now, I'm sending you a tremendous amount of warmth and love to be able to move through with ease and peace, knowing that you are not alone. And would love to hear from you in the comments if you have anything you want to add to the conversation. It's always so wild coming on live where it feels conversational and we have the comments, but there's not really a dialogue. So the dialogue we get to have happens in the comments. So I do always look back at the comments and make sure to respond so that we can keep the conversation going, especially if it can be helpful in any way, shape, or form. So with that, I will hopefully see you perhaps in the comments, but I do appreciate you being on or watching this later if you're catching the recording. And if not until next Thursday, I will look forward to being with you live again then, but perhaps we'll cross paths if nowhere else here in digital land between now and then. But until our paths do cross again, know that I am sending you so much love. Have a blessed day.